Hello, everybody. How are you this afternoon? It's Ron Commodore and Nisha Thayan with Next Key Realty Group with Remax Realtime. We have a special guest this afternoon. It's Vanee Semthooran, who will talk to us about law and how first-time buyers and sellers, what they need to have and what they need to have and some of the costs that may be associated with that. And also, if you like this video, could you please like it at the end and share it with your friends? And we'll also leave the contact information of Nisha and myself and Vanee as well. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Vanee. How are you doing today, Vanee?
I'm good, thank you. I hope you're both doing well.
We're doing well, thanks, Vanee.
And keeping safe on yourself?
Yes, we are. Yes, we're all keeping safe, working from home.
Excellent, excellent. So we're going to start and ask you a couple of questions. I hope our viewers can find this information very helpful. So, Nisha, would you like to start?
Yes. So I got a very first question, Vanee. What is my role as a buyer and as a seller, and how do I work with the lawyer?
So the main thing first is for whether it be a buyer or seller to get a lawyer as soon as possible. So I would suggest even as soon as you start looking for a place to buy or you're thinking of selling your home, start speaking to a lawyer because there'll be a lot of things you can take care of upfront. And the more you're able to communicate properly with the lawyer and give them the information and the documents that you need, it will just make that process more easy for you to go through and for the lawyer as well to work through any issues or things that could pop up at the last minute. We can take care of those upfront. So
exactly.
To do that and just keep that communication going. Find a lawyer that would keep in contact with you frequently, just in case you have questions pop up, and then you can just approach them easily to get those answered and resolved. So yeah, that's what I would suggest.
Exactly, especially as a first-time buyer, when you're in this for the very first time and you really don't know the process or the legalities of purchasing your first home. I would definitely be along the side of Vanee and just definitely advise, get that lawyer advice, get in touch with the lawyer upfront so that at the end there's no surprises and it makes it for a smoother ride.
Yes.
Well, Vanee, here's one of the questions I get mainly. What are the top 2 mistakes that buyers and sellers make?
So this kind of goes back to what the first question again. So most of the time what it is they don't get the lawyer early. So they might just wait around or wait for the last minute, and then the realtor has to push them to get a lawyer or find someone for them. So get that lawyer ahead of time. And then most of the issues that you might not like understand the legal jargons in your agreement, your realtor would go through them, but it's just reassuring for you to just go through that again with the lawyer to understand the legal implications, right? So in terms of mistakes, I would say if it's a seller, a common one I find is sometimes it sounds dramatic, but one of the sellers might not even be around. So they might go ahead and name a seller that's either not on title because they used to be on title and they passed away and they haven't done the due diligence to understand how to put them on or off the title, or they might actually end up putting the person that's not there on the agreement of purchase and sale. So either they might miss it or they might actually end up putting them. So these are very critical things that could actually, cause a lot of complications once an agreement is signed. So make sure this is again and again, like reiterating why you should go and see a lawyer ahead of time as a professional. And on a buyer's end, a common one I find is where a buyer who's buying a condominium or a condo townhouse doesn't do a home inspection. It's a very common one where they just sort of think, oh, it's a condo, I don't need to do one. But there are repercussions down the line where they don't do it. And then, so everyone's kind of like in that position where, there could be issues that come up later on that has to be addressed up front.
Great, great.
Mm-hmm. That's great advice, Vanee. Thank you. So another question that I get asked is the closing costs and the hidden fee. So what are the closing costs like? For example, let's take a first-time buyer, for example. as a first-time buyer, I'm buying for, say, $500,000 in the city of Toronto. So how much money should I set aside for closing costs?
So as a first-time buyer, if you're buying in the city of Toronto, you will get, so a regular buyer would have to pay double the land transfer tax. So every time you purchase a property in Ontario, you'll have to pay land transfer tax to the government of Ontario. And if it's in Toronto, you're paying it twice. You're paying it to the city of Toronto as well as to the province of Ontario. So the regular amount would be about 6,475 times by 2. That's about, it's about 12,000, almost 13,000 just in land transfer tax if you're buying a home for 500,000 in Ontario. Now, if you are a first-time buyer, you'll get a rebate of up to 8,475. So you only end up having to pay roughly about 4,400 or almost 1,500. So that's just the land transfer tax. You also have, typically you will have registration costs. So you'll have to register the title in your name. You'll have to register a mortgage if you're getting a mortgage. And there will be title searches and title insurance costs. So you're looking at approximately, along with the land transfer tax, you're looking at cost of, I would say about 6,000 that you should just probably set aside for all your costs associated with a purchase. And this is, we are talking about a resale and not a new build. Okay, so there will be a substantial difference there.
Yeah, there would be some difference if it was just a brand new pre-construction home.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Now, I noticed you mentioned title insurance. What is that?
The title insurance is an insurance that you get just like how you get a home insurance to protect the structure or your contents of the home. You get title insurance to protect the title on the property. So for instance, title is a very, very important thing. Like that's your ownership of a property. Now someone can steal that from you by either doing a fraud or like an ID theft or mortgage frauds. So that's the biggest one that's out there. That's the biggest reason why you should get title insurance. So if you get title insurance, it would cover you in case someone else pretends to be you and tries to get a mortgage on the property, or they try to transfer the title over to their name without your knowledge. And so title insurance will step in and recover you the mortgage funds or the value of the home, whatever that you've lost. The more practical one is where a previous owner may have not paid their property taxes, or they may have not paid their condo fees if it's a condominium, or they may have not paid a water bill if for whatever reason, and this would help you recover those funds in full as well. And there's other benefits like boundary issues that might pop up, any unknown repairs that were not known, or structural damages that were not known. So it's really important for everyone to get title insurance, and it will protect you for the life of your ownership of the property.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a very important cost, very important cost to incur, because it's actually going to be protecting you and benefiting you as the buyer. And I've actually seen other couples go through identity theft in terms of mortgage, where someone else has actually bought under their name. So actually, every advice that Vanee gave, thank you for that, because that really is very important insurance. I'm glad we covered that. So now going back, Vanee, a little bit, you mentioned there's a difference between new built and resale homes. So what is the difference in the closing costs between those two?
With the resale, we touched on that already. It's pretty straightforward. You got your land transfer tax, you got your registration costs, title searches, legal fees as applicable, and title insurance. Now with a new build, there's always going to be the builder costs. So the builder have their own costs, which will only come to realization at the time of closing. You would have some rough ideas as per your builder's agreement of purchase and sale, but ultimately you'll know the actual numbers at the time or closer to the closing date. And it's really important for you to go speak to your lawyer early on, as soon as you sign an agreement, even if the closing is 5 years down the road. Talk to them up front and go through all the details, because your closing costs, HST rebates, if you know, there's a lot of numbers that you need to go through. How do you go through an agreement and cap some of those costs? There may be options for you to cap or negotiate with the builder early on, and these usually have to be done within the first 5 days, 5 to 10 days, but I would just say, you know, do it within 5 days of signing. So you can try to limit the cost and understand what you have to prepare for the time ahead.
Excellent. That's good and great information. Thanks again for that. So Vanee, last question we have for you is, what can I expect on the day of closing?
Okay, so on the day of closing, now if you're doing a resale, whether you be a seller or a buyer, the sellers are pretty straightforward. They don't really even have to come into the office on the day of closing, as long as you've gone to the lawyer, signed everything, dropped off your keys up front like 2-3 days ahead. On the day of closing, you just, you know, you move out and you take care of what you need to do at home. And we will let you, usually by 5 o'clock, or 5 to 6 o'clock in the evening, you have to have vacated the property so that the buyers can come in. And you'll get an estimated idea of closing time from your lawyer. And then on the day of closing, you just get a call as soon as it closes, and you just make sure you're out of there usually by 5 o'clock. Now, if you need a little bit extra time, usually as per the agreement, you have till 6 to leave. If you're a buyer, on the other hand, you'll be, you know, again, you go to the lawyer, try to get everything done up front 2-3 days ahead, including dropping off any closing costs, signing documents. And then on the day, there's really nothing for you to do except come in the evening around maybe again 4 or 5 o'clock to pick up keys from the lawyer's office. Now, if it's a brand new home, usually, and if you're a buyer, you would have to go to the site to pick up the keys. Again, you'll do all the paperwork up front, drop off the funds up front, and then on the day, you just go in around 4 o'clock or whatever the time it may be and pick up the keys from the builder's site.
Okay, I have one more quick question for you. I thought about it now. So during this COVID-19, are you doing anything different?
There's a lot of things that we are doing different right now. So most law firms, they're working from home. They might come into the office here and there. They don't meet clients. So we try to do it remotely over the phone, over Zoom or FaceTime, you know, just be able to talk to them, connect through emails, and then all the signatures and signing are done electronically.
Okay.
We figure out what's best for the client, what method works for them. We talk to them, and then we figure out a way to get the documents signed. Funds are usually transferred like the wire transfers or e-transfers. Now, if they're larger funds for closings, then we might have something set up where they can just come in and drop off and leave. Just making sure they make an appointment ahead of time before they come by. And we can do that. And if there's exceptional cases where they do have to meet and there's no other way, then we do give them an appointment ahead of time where there's nobody else coming in to the office, maintaining social distancing, and we'll take care of it and they'll be on their way.
Excellent. Well, Vanee, well, thanks a lot for taking some time out to speak with us this afternoon. We really appreciate it. Again, we use Vanee Law all the time. She's been working with us for quite some time now. So if you want to contact her for more information and more detail, you can contact her at vaneelaw.com. That's her, or you can go vaneelaw.com. That's her email, and her contact information is 905-270-5454. And you can also contact us at Next Key Realty, 416-897-7474, or you can email Ron and Nisha, or Ron at nextkeyrealty.com or Nisha at nextkeyrealty.com. That's, again, you can email us at Ron at nextkeyrealty.com or Nisha at nextkeyrealty.com. We will also leave the contact information below. Also, don't forget to share this information with your family or friends if you liked it. Thank you, and have a great day.